And let's go straight from segue from the Panthers talking about their defense and go to the only undefeated team left. And not sure if you would have
Who would
said
have
this
had this?
before, but we're leading right to Andy Reid and Alex Smith's Kansas City Chiefs with a 9-0 record.
Oh my goodness. Who would have had this? If you had this, you need to go to Vegas with me tomorrow. We'll get your numbers, we'll line up everything. We'll take care of business tomorrow on the red eye. Holy cow, 9-0, Ben. I mean, I talked to a good friend of the show, and he is a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, and the things he's told me is I want to see a playoff win, and I can't doubt, I can't fault him on that because back in 2002, I don't know if you do know this, the Chiefs did make the playoffs in 2002 with a 12-4 record. I don't know how that one slipped past me, but they haven't had a win in Kansas City history in a long time. The drive with Montana and everything, but we look at the Chiefs numbers. Let's look at those a little more up close and personal. They only give up 12.3 points a game. That's number one in the NFL. They only give up 326 yards a game. That's 8th in the NFL. They only give up 208 yards. That's 3rd in the NFL. And they only give up rushing. They give up 118 yards rushing, which could be the downfall. That's 25th in the NFL. So, Ben, what do those numbers tell you? Do they tell you they match up pretty much the same as the Panthers? Is it the same prescription?
I think it's the where the Panthers and stuff differ is Panthers have the stellar rushing defense, while as far as Kansas City Chiefs have more of a better passing defense as far as and points allowed per game. And what's frustrating about the Chiefs is that they win these games. Like if you're playing against them, they win these games, but they don't necessarily just like outrun you and just outbeat you. They just find a way to win. In fact, NFL writer Judy Batista said in an NFL article that the Chiefs are beige in a Technicolor league. So,
That's a
and
solid quote
I
right
think that's just the best quote to describe them. This league is full of just like flavors of all different types of quarterbacks, running backs, franchises, different places. A flashy league, and the Kansas City Chiefs are basically just beige. They're basic. They're like Manila folder, whatever you want to call it. As far as whatever's happening, Andy Reid's getting the job done. Alex Smith's getting the job done. They're not putting up stellar numbers, but at the end of the day, you look at the record, they're 9-0. So whatever they're doing is working. You can't fault them on that. But going to their wins they've beaten Dallas, and Eagles have had a couple of good games here, but then they've also beaten Oakland, Tennessee, Houston, not in any particular order, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Jacksonville.
now.
Uh,
Jacksonville.
but what the big test of what they're going to do in this AFC West is they have a bye this week, which is good because when they come back, they'll play at Denver, San Diego, and then Denver again. So they're going to have Denver in 2 times within 3 weeks, and that can be in their favor as far as they can be familiar with what's going to happen. No idea, but it's going to be a tough road for them in these next 4 weeks.
Right, and I was talking to this unnamed source that's a Kansas City fan that's close to the show. I talked to him for about 10 or 15 minutes because we were going to do this segment and everything, and he said it's kind of you're doomed if you do and doomed if you don't. You got Denver twice. Denver has got the game is going to have the game on you, even if you split. You got to split and hope for somebody to beat Denver. Denver goes to San Diego twice too. Here in the next, I think it's in 2 out of the next 5 weeks. You got to hope San Diego wins, but he said the two things that are key. You got to take care of Washington, and you got to take care of Oakland, and those are back to back. You go to Washington all the way across, from Kansas City, and then you go to Oakland, back to back weeks. That travel is a little hard, even though you're only losing an hour, 2 hours east and an hour west. Those are the two games that he said he looks at and he says that's where you're going to either see the Kansas City Chiefs fade or they're going to fly. It's either fly or fall. One of the two is how he described it. And you look at that Indianapolis matchup too. I mean that's no walk in the park either.
It's going to be tough.
I mean, like you said, you got to split with Denver. You got to take care of San Diego. You got to beat Washington. You got to beat Oakland. If you lose the Indianapolis, okay, but then you got to beat San Diego. You got to have 2 wins from San Diego. You got to beat Washington. You got to beat Oakland, and you got to hope and pray you split with Denver. And that Denver thing you said, those 2 and 3 weeks, you're not going to see the same Denver team, I promise, the first week or the third week that you will the first week, because you know who's the quarterback there, and you know who does a good job of studying and making adjustments there on the fly. And I don't think you're going to have to worry about Denver having a problem there. Now, the ultimate thing that I think is going to be the contributing factor here is the game at Kansas City. Arrowhead Stadium is one of the craziest places to play. And, I think that could be the key to the way they split with them, because I don't think they're going to get them in Denver.
No, and when we talked about our topic 4, we can actually kind of mesh it into the topic 3 as far as, as you mentioned, John Fox won't be the Denver's coach, obviously, in this next game at San Diego. As we mentioned, he had some heart issues here in Charlotte at the golf course. And, you mentioned earlier, something you mentioned, of course, you never want to see a coach go down, but it was something that he supposedly did know about. We mentioned it earlier before the podcast was being recorded. You want to talk about that at all, Daniel? A little bit, as far as he may have known something was up with his heart.
Yeah, Ben. It's one of those things. If you go to the doctor, you have the test done, and somebody says, that main valve that's in your heart could have a problem. I'm not thinking twice about it. I'm going to have them look at it, and then they're going to figure out, hey, you're eventually going to need the surgery. I'm going to go get it done. That's just my mentality. That's my thing. And Ben, I know you've got some real life experience with this whole heart issue thing, so maybe you want to touch a little bit on that.
Yeah,
since it hit close to home.
It's something that when I found out that I had to have my first procedure, it's not something that you put to the side. If it's something like a bone fracture, hey, that'll that this is like your heart, it's what you need to survive. It doesn't take somebody in 10 years of school to tell you your heart is what you need. That's the thing, brain, heart, stuff like that. You don't take that. It doesn't matter if you're the head coach of the NFL, if you're the Queen of England, if you're a McDonald's employee, it doesn't matter. You don't take this stuff lightly, and something that kind of frustrated me that he would. And like I said, I can't be fully sure what the full story is. Maybe he was going to check out a doctor. I'm not sure, but if the reports are true that he did know about it, this is something that you don't want to take on lightly. You want to get it fixed early and quick. That's why I always encourage people to have your yearly physical. Don't put it off to the side, because that's how they found out about my heart condition. So make sure that you have your physical every year. Don't let it go past and forget about it. So no matter your age, basically have your physical, and all will be well.
That's right. Let's go through this. We broke down it with the Panthers. What do you think here? At Denver, do you think there's a chance?
I say they drop the one at Denver, but I say they answer back and win at home against Denver. I say the Chiefs can ideally finish off the year going 5-2.
So 5-2, that would put them at the magic number of 14 wins, Ben, or 13, should I say? Excuse me. Well, 13 wins.
It'll be 14 because they have 9 wins now. 9 plus 5 is 14.
That's right.
We're not math majors.
Hey, we're sports management majors. I'm a sports management major, but anyway. So 14. So you say 14 wins. Mm-hmm. Now, say Denver runs the table, goes 15-1, loses the 1 to Kansas City. Denver is the 1 seed.
Well, Denver's also already lost the game this year.
They have. Yes. So say Kansas City happens to not win, like we said. Say they run 4-3 instead of 5-2.
Mm-hmm. So
you look at this. This is a bad one here. If Denver gets the 1 seed, Kansas City drops to 5 or 6 with the wild card. Who are you more afraid of? The 1 seed Denver, or are you more afraid of the Kansas City team at the 5 or 6 if they drop for that in the wild card?
I still think Denver's the bigger threat, honestly. I know the Chiefs are 9-0 and everything, but after they play Denver, San Diego, Denver again, I will come back with you with a realistic answer because right now all I have playing against them is Pee Wee football teams. So.
Oh man, the Dallas people are gonna love you for that one. I can hear them already. But I mean that's a great point. Like that's the point that my friend that's a Kansas City guy he keeps saying. You know, we haven't beat the bestest of teams here. Not bestest, but should I say the better teams of the NFL. You know, and he said, and he's like, I just want to make sure, I just want to get a win in the playoffs. Is that too much to ask for? And I said no. And
Sounds like being a Braves fan.
Hey, he's a Kansas City Royals fan, man. It's been a long time coming. Okay, 1991 with George Brett and the whole thing. But yeah, he's ready to get on board. But he's like, I'm scared to drink the Kansas City juice. But you know, is Alex Smith the key here? If he continues to have what he's had this season, is he the key here? Does he hold on and get them to that playoff win and ultimately the second round of the playoffs?
Well, one of my good friends, he's a San Francisco 49ers fan, and he's always like Alex Smith. And I think Alex Smith was doing fine at 49ers. It was just a very unfortunate event because he didn't necessarily lose his job. He just got hurt. Kaepernick took that job over, and then you left Harbaugh in an uncomfortable position where, hey, Kaepernick is playing stellar. Smith, you did good too, but Kaepernick's just a little bit better, so we're going to bench you, Smith. So, I mean, it's not like Smith was traded to the Chiefs because he was doing bad at San Francisco. He's still a good quarterback. I want to put him in the elite stage as far as Drew Brees, Manning, Rodgers, and stuff like that.
I love that word.
Something in it, but like I think he's a good quarterback. He still has room to prove. I think this is kind of his year to show people what he's actually truly capable of. You know, when in 49ers, he went through numerous amounts of offensive coordinators, coaches. Here at Kansas City Chiefs, they're looking that Andy Reid can be the long-term coach. So we'll see what Alex Smith can do with this set of offense that he has and the great defense that he has supporting him. If he does actually throw an interception or has a hiccup every once in a while. Every good quarterback does have a hiccup every once in a while. I think Alex Smith will do good. I think he can get them a first-round playoff win, but after that, we'll see what happens when you start introducing the Broncos and Patriots and stuff like that.
That's a good call, and you look at their offense, like you said, they're the vanilla. They line up. They've got two tight ends, one receiver, two backs, and here it is, and we're coming down the hill. And they've got a great back in Charles there is the back there. He's been very impressive, and you know that's the thing that I think. You know, maybe Alex Smith didn't. I mean, he had in Kansas City, but I think another thing with Harbaugh, he wanted his guy, and I think Kaepernick was his guy, and he didn't want to fall on the sword with Alex Smith, a guy he had been handed to. I think that was another issue at the time. But you know, he drafted Kaepernick, and it's worked out. Everybody's worked out, and I'm glad to see Alex Smith doing well. I'm glad to see Andy Reid there in Kansas City doing big things with them. I thought he was a great coach. You know, his time was just up in Philadelphia there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone pretty much wins out on this deal. 49ers obviously doing well, Chiefs doing well, Andy Reid doing well. I think it's just a win-win for everybody, and also a win-win for us for staying under the time allotted that we gave ourselves, as we didn't ramble on too much. So here at Driveway Talk, we win. And so basically, next week on the episode 3 of the podcast, we're going to be discussing big topics. Might have some guest speakers in for that week. We're mostly going to be talking about the NFL and hitting, tackling, what's appropriate and what's not. We don't want to go into too much detail on this one. But until next time, thank you again for listening. He's Daniel Sippy, D_Sip90. I'm Ben Johnson, Benji_91 on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook for any suggestions you may have for sports topics, and we'll look to get you on as a guest speaker. Till next time, this is Driveway Talk, signing out.